How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Can you see me, hear me okay?
Yes. Can you see me and hear me okay?
I can see and hear you okay. I remember last time you couldn't see me, so that's kind of why I asked if you could see me this time.
Yes. Okay. So sometimes Instagram Live does this weird thing where I won't be able to see the guest. I only see myself, but in the replay, it looks just like this. So,
Right,
it's
right.
weird. But this time I get to see you. Hey!
Hello for the first time, properly.
How's it going?
Not been too bad. It's not been too bad. I mean, tonight is actually, I don't know if you know, but tonight is quite a big night for England, for England football fans, because it's the Euros playing right now.
Oh,
And
football.
good, yeah, football, yeah. Or as you Americans say, soccer.
Okay,
But
look, I'll be honest. It makes so much sense for the sport to be called football
yeah,
than soccer. I don't know
it
why we
does.
have to make things difficult over here. I wasn't involved in things. No one asked me anything.
But yeah, I mean, it's a good job that I'm not a football fan because I'm not. Because otherwise, like, if I was a big football fan, I'll be missing the game, right? Because it's literally playing right now. They're like halfway. So it's a good job. I literally do not care about
Okay.
sport or football or anything like that. I've just never, I've never been a fan of football at all. I've always, I come from an acting background myself. So growing up, I just used to be interested in acting and in films and cinema and I've done stand-up comedy before. So that's where my passions were as a kid. It was never sport. So yeah.
Understood. And then Jared, hey Jared.
Hey Jared.
Jared, if you want to join a live, you can get your own live with me. DM me and we'll have you come on in front of the live. But you can still drop your questions and comments here. So would you mind letting us know, Luke, what do you do? What are you into? I know it's not sports.
It's not
Yeah.
sport.
And what are you up to these days?
Um, I guess just kind of surviving really, just trying to get by, plod along. It's gone so quickly. I mean, like we're, we're, we're in the middle of July right now, and like, where has the time gone? Like, it's so crazy. It's scary as well. I mean, I'm only 27, but I feel old already, and it's like the time's just like ticking, and it's like, what have I done all year? And it's just like then plus in the UK at the moment, it's meant to be summer, but it's like winter right now. It's like raining and all that. Like usually it would be like 40 degrees hot, but it should be like really, really hot. But at the moment it's not too bad now, but recently it has just been really cold and raining and windy. Typical British weather.
I've heard. You said 40 degrees?
Yeah, like usually it's really, really hot in our summer, which is obviously, June, July, August, September. It can sometimes reach to like 40, like really, really hot. So yeah,
Okay. Is this one of those things where you mean 40 Celsius?
yeah, 40 Celsius. Yeah, I don't know
Okay,
what I said.
okay,
Oh,
okay.
I don't know what I said, but
Y- Yes,
it's very hot.
and that's all. Oh, listen, again, we like being difficult. All right, we don't want to do Celsius. We don't want to do metric system. We're so difficult over here.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Well, I'm in Florida, where
Yeah, I can remember you saying he's in Florida, good old Florida.
yes,
I
where
I
actually.
had a friend who recently went on holiday in Florida, actually, that he went to Disneyland, Florida.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, he had a good time. I've never
good.
been. I've never been. I would like to go.
Well, I haven't been to Disneyland since I was 18. Um, it was
Oh
our
wow.
grad night, so all the seniors in the surrounding high schools had their own night to themselves in Disney. And I guess in my mind, I'm like, nothing's gonna top that. I don't need to go back.
Yeah, I've always want to go to Disneyland ever since I was a kid. I say it like all the time. Like, I'm 27, but I'd love to go to Disneyland. Like
Well, come
honestly,
on.
yeah. Well, I need someone to go with. I need some money to go. So yeah, unless you want to pay for my ticket, then let's do it.
Well, if this hot take thing jumps off and I'm making money from it, I will sponsor your trip to Disney.
I will hold you to that. I will hold you to that.
Yeah, and we can both go. We can enjoy
Well,
it.
you're already there anyway. Well, not Disneyland, but you are in Florida. You just probably just get a bus there and you're there.
Yeah, yeah. I'll hop, skip, and I'll meet you. I'll meet you.
Yeah, you meet me at the bus stop, and then we'll go on the bus and go there.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, I guess we'll get started.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys, we're talking about The Hunger Games, the 2012 one with Jennifer Lawrence, um,
The
Donald
greatest,
Sutherland.
the greatest action star ever.
That feels like a little bit of sarcasm, and I'm ready.
It is.
I'm ready to dig in with it. Okay, so I have a couple questions. First one, did you read the books?
No.
Okay, this is a question that doesn't mean anything. Second question, how did you enjoy the movie?
So I literally watched it for the first time ever about a couple of weeks ago. For the first time ever. I don't know how I missed it. I don't know how. Yeah, there's like 5 films or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how. And obviously, when those films came out in 2012 or 2013, I was literally the target audience. Like I was the perfect age. I was into Harry Potter. I liked the Maze Runner films. Lord of the Rings. I was there in that time, but for some reason, it just never clicked with me. I just never thought I want to go and see the new Hunger Games. It
Mm,
just never clicked. And everyone was talking about it. It's like you gotta watch the Hunger Games. You gotta watch the Hunger Games. And I've always like, no, I'm gonna go and watch Star Wars. And the prequels, which is also back then. Actually, no, it wasn't. That's a lie. No, prequels was before. But other films, I was more interested in like the Maze Runner. You know, um, so yeah, I watched it for the first time because I was part of a little collab that Movie Record of the Week was doing a couple of weeks back, and obviously he asked me to be in part of the collab, and he said, and I said, well, I've never actually seen it, so I had to then buy a DVD to obviously watch it, because it wasn't on streaming or anything like that, so I had to buy it, and I thought this is like a good opportunity for me to watch it. Like, I've heard good things about the first one, so I thought it should be all right. It should be all right. I'm not expecting a masterpiece, but I think it's going to be all right. And I think this is probably the first time I have been so conflicted with a film in a very long time. Honestly, I watched it. I mean, I had to watch it quite quickly because I had to give him my score and all that. And I was watching it, and I kept debating myself, like, am I enjoying this or am I not? And then it got to the end, and I thought I need to give him a score and a summary. And I thought, let's go in the middle and say it's a bit better than average. And I said 6.5 originally. And then as soon as I gave him it, and then he posted it, I thought, I need to watch it again. Because it was like niggling at me. I thought I've made a mistake here. I feel like it should be lower, but then I felt like it should have been higher. So I literally watched it the next day again, and I thought, I'm not liking this at all. And yeah, I actually decided to write a whole review of it, and I lowered my score quite a lot. So yeah, and now I'm still quite conflicted about it. I'm like, was I a little bit too harsh before? Or should I have just stuck with my original score? Like, I'm still, even now, so conflicted.
wow. Okay. So
I'm assuming you love it.
I do like it. I
A lot of people do.
I honestly think that I read the series first. Um, I really like reading books if I can before the movie.
Yeah, some
Um,
people can be like that.
And so once I heard they were making it, I rushed to go read the books, which is kind of the same thing I did with Twilight. I saw a
Yeah,
trailer and
that's another one. That's another one that came out,
I was
during
like,
that
oh,
time.
Twilight, okay. And then I read so I rushed to go read the books, and really enjoyed the books, and like the hype around Twilight, not to go too off center, but the hype around Twilight at the time was like, yeah, we're in it, Team Jacob, Team Ed, whatever. Da, 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 da. I think the books, me loving the books, is what helped me enjoy the movies more. So
Yeah.
when I went back recently and rewatched some of the Twilight series, I was like, oh, this is what everybody was talking about. God, the acting is not that great. God, the dialogue is not that great. Like, oh my gosh, I was just all into the hype of everything. So I said
I
all
mean, I'm not a book
that.
reader at all. I'm not really a book
Okay.
reader. I
Well,
mean, obviously, when the Harry Potter films came out, I'm a big fan of those films. But I got all the books, but I never read any of them.
oh,
So I just went in those films as just,
okay.
I fell in love with the first, and then kind of so on, really.
Well, I will say this about the Harry Potter series. So I read the books. I love them. I believe the first three, I guess I could say four movies were the best, closest adaptation to the books and the
Okay.
source material in general. And then they started kind of doing their own thing in the fifth and sixth, like like the chart. They were looking at like the entertainment angles, which I get it. It's a different
Hmm.
medium. I understand. So there were just certain things they chose to focus on that were like this in the book, but they made it like this in the movie, and it deterred from some of the other stuff that I'm not really a big fan of. But my biggest complaint with the movies for Harry Potter is how weak they made Harry Potter look.
Oh.
Weak. It pissed me off. Pissed my sister off.
I don't agree with that. I
You
don't
didn't read
agree
the
with that.
books. You can't say
No, I
that.
haven't read the books, but I would say they made him weak. Like, I thought he was, I mean, I've never
All
been
right,
like,
you know, I'll give you an example. And I'm talking generally. I don't mean like I don't mean I hated his performance in every movie or anything. What I'm saying is there are certain things they chose to do with his character or have him say that was like he's much more stronger than this. And I don't mean like power, like just his will, his personality, the things about Harry Potter himself. Like in the sixth movie, I think it was, when uh, Dumbledore made Harry go hide, and then
oh,
Snape,
Half-Blood Prince.
yes, and then Snape like you know killed Dumbledore. Spoiler alert! And
Spoiler alert.
Harry just sat there watching. That is not what happened. In the book, Dumbledore uh, froze Harry because he knew if he didn't do it, Harry would run to his rescue and try to be involved in the fight. This made him look like a cowering person. Like that little tiny detail that separates
But
who
you remember
Harry
though
was.
that Snape, but you remember though that Snape kind of like did that to Harry. Literally when Dumbledore sent Harry off to go and hide, Snape then appeared and was like, be quiet
Right, but
to
what
Harry,
I'm
and
telling
then
you is
Snape
in the
went up.
book, Dumbledore froze Harry because Harry would not have sat there and watched Severus just do that and not react.
Well,
He would not.
the only one who got thrown out the window was Dumbledore.
So, like what I'm saying is, Luke, it's just little things here and there,
Yeah,
just a few throughout the series that they chose to make certain choices that just made Harry look weaker in those moments. Let me say, not weak overall, weaker in those little moments that were stronger in the book. That's what I mean. Let me
yeah,
just
that's
correct
fair
myself.
enough.
And
I mean,
again,
obviously,
I enjoyed the movies.
yeah,
I enjoyed the movies. I enjoyed Daniel Radcliffe. I did. I was just, but here we are talking about Harry Potter and everything else but Hunger Games. Okay, back to Hunger
okay.
Games.
Let's go back to the boring
Believe it or not,
games.
guys, we're talking about Hunger Games 2012.
The boring games. The boring games.
Okay, so I said all that to come back around to say I read the books, I watched the movies and the hype of everything. So I went back and rewatched it again. So what I do is whenever I give my guests like the choice, and they tell me what movies they pick from, whatever movie it is, no matter what I've seen it before or not, I watch it or rewatch it again. So fresh eyes, I can see it. And rewatching it holds up for me. Still love it as much as I did. So past the hype, past everything else, going back and rewatching it, love it. Love what they did with it. Love it. And I think that it makes me love. I think it makes me hate songbirds of snakes or whatever, the new one, even more now because
Yeah, I've
I've
heard
finally
that's
watched
meant
it.
to. I've heard. I haven't seen any of the others, but I've heard that that one in particular is really bad.
That is a separate live that I need to do with somebody because I would like to have a
Yeah.
conversation about this
I mean, the
so
thing is, I mean,
much.
that's the thing. It probably won't be me because even though I saw, I've
Oh
seen
no,
the
no,
first
I
one.
know.
I saw the first one, and I'll be honest, having only seen this one, it didn't exactly leave me hungry for more, if you'll
I
pardon the
I see
pun.
what you
But
did there.
yeah, it really didn't leave me. I didn't like usually with these kind of films, like Harry Potter, Maze Runner, Lord of the Rings, like usually after that, the first film, I'm like, so in. I want more of this world. But when I left the Hunger Games, I was just like, all right, it was all right. It didn't make me then think like I really want to go and watch the other 4 or 5 films now. I was just like, I'll watch them if they come on streaming, but I'm definitely not going to buy them on DVD like I did this time.
And you know what's so funny about what you say? I love these so much, and I think I've only watched the first two Maze Runner films because I just couldn't be bothered to finish. I was like, I'm not interested in this. This isn't. I don't. I have no interest in this. But Hunger Games definitely had me. So it's funny to see like how you feel about Maze Runner. It's different than like and how I feel
Hmm.
about Hunger Games, right? So what I will say is one, this movie has so many like memes from it and quotes and things. May the odds
Does
be
it?
ever in your
I
favor.
haven't seen any.
What?
I'm a meme lord. I love my memes. I haven't seen any.
Oh, like there's a bunch, but actually, I
I
pay more
can't
attention
think
to
of
the words.
any.
Like may the odds be ever in your favor. That was being quoted like everywhere. Everyone was saying that everywhere. And I volunteer as tribute. That was a huge meme. That was a huge
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
meme.
Maybe I've seen that one. Maybe.
You've definitely seen
Yeah.
that one. Um, so I'm gonna tell you something about what's funny about this movie. I think at the time that this movie came out, I had not realized, I think, at that time, that there were two Hemsworth brothers that were actors. There's a third one that's not an actor, but there was two. I did not know this. And so I had seen Chris Hemsworth and other things, and then to watch this, I was like, at the time, I was like, wait a minute, that's that guy, but why does he look slightly different? Like, how does he keep? How does he keep? Oh man, this makeup is amazing. How does he keep? Like, I was that like out of it. So when I realized there were two of them, I was like, oh, whoops, my mistake. I'm not the only
Yeah.
one who made this mistake. I will find other people. I can't be the only person who didn't realize there were two Hemsworth brothers right away.
I mean, in terms of like the cast, I mean, I think they all did a decent enough job, but I wouldn't say anyone. I felt like a disconnection to any of the characters. I couldn't connect with anyone. I didn't really care about anyone. I would say I was a little bit interested in Snow, only because I like villains all the time. Whenever I watch a film, I always like the villains, and obviously Snow obviously is the bad guy. So I've always like he seems quite interesting, but he's not really in it very much. So I just found it very difficult to connect with anyone or root for anyone. Like even Katniss. I mean, we'll talk about her probably a little bit later on, of course, but yeah, she's she was all right. She was just very just blank, very not very exciting as a character. I don't think.
Lisa and Luke, nice. Yes, just another movie night. Hey, Scott.
Hey,
Um, yeah. So yeah, we're talking about the Hunger Games 2012.
The Boring Games, 2012.
Oh, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you, Sarah? Okay, so here's what I'll say. Um, I think one of the reasons why she was a bit of a blank slate was because she was in survivor mode at all times.
Hmm. Yeah.
There was no like and again I guess this is also what happens when you read, when you read the books, you start to kind of, books fill in the holes when you watch the movie. They fill in the holes that, they don't have time to go over in the movie. So me knowing that, their since their father died, her mother just gave up on life, so she had to take care of the family herself. Every day was hunting, surviving, hunting, surviving, hunting, surviving. Like, she didn't even have time to think about love, even though she basically had two guys pining over her. Um, and she gets to this place, and she is just aghast at, like, you know about the Hunger Games, but until you're in the Hunger Games, you don't realize just how
Yeah. Yeah.
that it
That's
is.
fair. That's fair
Um,
enough.
I feel like, and here's what I will say to you. I feel like there could definitely have been more pulled out of her once she was in the games. Like, leading up to it, I think everything was made sense. How she responded, how she is, and even like her volunteering as tribute, her love for her sister. Like, I got all of that. I got all of that. Hold on. Just in the movie night says, haha, I blanked out on these films myself.
Yeah. See, I'm not the only one. I'm not
No,
the
you're
only
not the
one.
other way. So that's okay. That's okay. I will stand on this hill alone. I get it. I'm
I
fine.
just, I don't know. It just kind of felt like she was like the same from the beginning of the film to
Hmm.
the end of the film. Like there was no real development there. I don't think. Obviously, there are four more films, and obviously I haven't seen them, so I haven't seen if there is any development. But in that one film, it just felt she was just very emotionless, and there was she was just. I mean, obviously, at the same time, it's not a very fair criticism of what I'm going to say, but like it was like she was just reacting to everything. But obviously, at the same time, that is what she was doing. So. So I don't know. So it's a little bit unfair. That's why I'm so conflicted. Like I understand why she was, you know, kind of almost, just reacting to a thing and why she was a bit blank throughout the most of the film. I can understand it, but I just wanted a little bit more considering she's the main character. But then I do kind of think to myself, like the first Maze Runner, with the Thomas, like he's very blank in the first film.
Yes.
So it's like similar kind of criticism there.
Yes.
Um, but and then obviously once we get into the Hunger Games, it's like where are the games? Like what this is it's just like nothing's really happening. And it's just so slow. That's why I called it the boring games, because it just keeps going on and on and on. And I kept thinking, oh, it's coming to the end now. Oh no, we've got another 45 minutes. You know, it's just it's just it's just quite tedious, I thought. And we're seeing all these characters and it's just no one's really popping, and it's no one's really popping on the screen, which is crazy because everyone in the capital of the city, everyone looks like they're in some kind of Lady Gaga lookalike contest, you know, or something, you
Okay.
know.
Okay. Gemma Duncan says the books are better. 100% agree. Yeah.
I can't
Books
see
are
that.
always better.
I can't see
Um,
that comment for some reason.
but oh well, it was she did it as like a question to me in the thing here, which I didn't even know until
Oh
this
right,
came up. It's something that you
oh
could
right,
do. So I didn't even know that.
oh
So
right. Yeah.
learn
I was
something
going to
new
say
today.
I can't see any comments, but yeah. And
So,
then it's
well,
just
okay. I want to address the
the Lady
lady.
Gaga lookalike contest. That was literally the first when that woman, I can't remember her name, literally not the first scene, but when Katniss gets picked, you know, to be in the Hunger Games. There's that woman with all the
Yes,
makeup on her
Effie,
face.
Effie Trinket.
Yeah,
Effie is her name.
like as soon, obviously,
She,
I've not seen the trailer, and I didn't, haven't seen the other films. So when I literally saw her, I thought, is that Lady Gaga? You know, and then we go into the Capitol, and then there's loads of Lady Gagas, and I thought, what is this?
okay,
It's
here's what I'll say. Here's how I look at this. So the Capitol, right, is meant to exude like the wealth, the abundance, right? And all the
mm,
districts, those are the ones that like basically that's the lower class. There really is no middle class, it seems. You're either wealthy or you're in a district and you're working every day to the bone. And I
I
feel
know which
like,
class I'd be in.
huh?
I know which class I would be in,
Oh.
and it won't be the rich.
You know what? I like District 12. I don't know about the other ones. Or District 13, basically, but well, that's something different. But the thing is, I feel like even how it's in the book as well, I think that they wanted to really divide the outrageous overabundance,
Well, they did that. They
ridiculousness,
def they did that.
ridiculousness of the upper class. And, not to crap on like, fashion at all. I'm just kind of using it as an example here. Like, look at these very high level, like fashion shows, and all these
It,
crazy
it
designs.
did, it did look like a fashion show.
Right.
It did.
And
Um,
I
but
think that's
not
what it
for a good
was.
reason. Not for a good reason.
Well, like, hold on. Just on the movie site says the games are the most interesting part, but I'd rather watch Battle Royale and The Running Man. Okay, I don't think I've ever watched Battle Royale, but The Running Man,
I've
I can get behind
not
him.
seen. I've not seen either. I've heard of the Battle Royale, but I've not heard of the Running Man. But
Mm.
I haven't seen either. But when
Uh,
I was when I was before I watched the Hunger Games, a couple of weeks ago, I did do a bit of research, and a lot of people was comparing it to Battle Royale, and I thought, okay, I've not seen it, so I just thought, okay, but I did see a lot of people comparing it though, so I guess it's true.
mm, um, not to gross anybody out, but you know how you talk about the ridiculousness of how they look in the Capitol? Their habits are even more ridiculous when you get down to like the second or third movie and or book. Like they have these crazy parties with so much food that they literally take these pills that force them to empty their stomachs so they can put more food in it. Like
Okay.
that is the extent, like that is like, I think that's why it was so over, like it's why it's so over the top, not just in movie form but in the book form, the showing like the absolute absurdity of wealth and how you have so much and you refuse to help at all. Like these people over here, they're starving, literally starving. If it wasn't for Katniss, her family would have died. Like they literally have to like look for food and hunt for food, that kind of thing. Um, just in the movie it says Hunger Games is a complete ripoff to Battle Royale. Give me a heads up if you get to it, guys. Okay, I will definitely do that, Scott. Now, Battle Royale, how old? We talking like as old as old as The Running Man? Like, is it old? Is it new? That I need to know. Like, is it like 80s, 90s?
Yeah, I'm not sure really. But yeah,
Because
as I said, like I have seen so many people saying that it is a rip-off of Battle Royale. Like this is not the first comment or person that I've seen who said this.
okay,
Oh, so he said
so
90s.
90s.
Mm.
Okay, so the I don't I obviously the Hunger Games was written after. So I don't know. I'm going to watch Battle Royale now because I want to find out like what you say. Because the funny thing about art is being inspired by something is different than copying it. You know what I mean?
Yes, I
So
agree with that.
so I would like to see for myself. Not that I disagree with you, Scott. You guys have a really good handle on things. Oh, Gemma says, Running Man is amazing. I can't believe you haven't seen that, Luke. It's a Stephen King story. Oh, Luke, you're in
Yeah,
trouble.
I
You're in
can't see your
trouble.
comments, Gemma. I could not see Gemma's comments, but no, I am in trouble. I am in trouble.
Yeah, because she keeps posting them in like the little question thing over here, which I didn't even know
Uh,
that was a thing. It's so
yeah.
cool. Um,
And
but
then
yeah,
there's Woody Harrelson. You know, I mean, I love Woody Harrelson. He's in another bad wig again. You know, why do they keep putting my man in these bad wigs? Like,
well, okay. All right. Tell me why you, okay. I'm trying to word this
his
really
character was
because
interesting. I want to know a little bit more
so
about him. You know,
okay, here's what I'll tell you. I think this is why the wig is the way it was and all that stuff. Is because in the book his character is like drunk
yeah, yeah.
all the
I
time,
mean,
all, all the time.
it just is like as soon as he came out, you know, and it's like, is that Woody Harrelson? You know, and it's just, and then I just every time I was looking at him, I was just looking at the wig.
Yeah.
You know,
So well, that was their way of trying to, I guess, exude like disheveled drunkenness without having to show it all the time. Because again, book form and media form, they look you would receive it differently. Um, but yeah, his character is a previous victor of the games,
yeah,
and the reason why he's a drunk is what he went through in the games, and that's why he's the way he is. He is. See, and then again, I know. I'm trying. I'm giving the movie so much leverage, but again, it's because of all the stuff that I get from the books. So I know, Luke, I know.
and then what's his and then obviously, you know, you got Lenny Kravitz in
Okay,
there as
Lenny
a
was
fashion designer.
good. Lenny was good.
Lenny Kravitz is a fashion designer. Like, why not? You know, like why not? You know, it was weird. See you in a minute.
You
Um,
you 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 leave my Lenny Kravitz alone. He did a
and
good.
then you got that guy Wes Bentley, I think his name is. You know, with the like a really weird shaped beard.
Oh
You know, I think he plays
yes,
Kane or
Seneca.
Crane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, him. Like him. I kept looking at the beard. I thought, what's going on with this guy's beard? You know.
The fashion stuff.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's not even just the fact that it's fashion, but it is the sign of wealth in this timeline. The outlandish outfits and the hair and all that stuff. Like it
Oh
is the
yeah.
sign
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
your
Oh,
status.
definitely.
So that's why it's ridiculous. And I kind of feel like it makes sense this ridiculousness for these people who feel like it's okay to have children fight. Like there's like no morality,
Thing. Like,
no
yeah. I mean,
maturity. You know what I
I
mean?
can definitely understand it. Like, you know, I can understand it that, you know, they are meant to be like proper upper class and they're very wealthy and of course, you know, they're putting children in these arenas
Hmm.
to kill themselves. And that's the thing. Like, obviously, like I went into it, like the whole concept of the Hunger Games, you know, a bunch of whiny, hormonal teenagers being locked into an arena to fight down to the last man, that sounds really cool and that sounds fun. The film is anything but. It's just, it's like, how could you make this concept so boring and so depressing? You know, like, where this should be like proper cool, you know, and it's just like, where's all the fun gone? You know, like it's like someone got a Hoover and sucked all the fun out of it, and it's just like it's just left with this cold, drab film with no personality.
Mm. Gemma says Lenny Rocks, great choice. Okay, so I will tell you, I will say, and I'm not saying this for you to go because I know that you're not going to, but it starts to really amp up in the second movie. Like it really amps up in the second movie. There's a lot going on, like a lot. It gets much more interesting. You have more interesting characters introduced. Um, I will tell you that characters who are introduced, yeah, they're more interesting than Katniss. I will say that. I will say that. But having her there doesn't take away anything from me. I still think it's good. And this, like, there was that opening scene, not opening scene, but there was that scene of viciousness once the game started, where like immediately, like what, 6, 7, dead, gone.
Yeah,
And they were
yeah.
really showing you like the slashing and all the other stuff. And the rest of the time, because we're following Katniss, is trying to see how she survives, how she's going on, and kind of how she's responding to everything. So it is slower in that realm. So I see what you mean as far as like being told this is the premise of a Hunger Games with kids fighting for survival, and in your mind you're like, oh, cool, tons of action, tons of going at it, and there isn't a lot of that. There's splurts, but there's not a lot total. So I understand the letdown.
And of course, if we're going to talk about Katniss, we have to talk about Peter and how, how I would describe Peter is like every time he looks on the screen, he looks like he's just caught someone's mum in the shower and he shouldn't. Like, he just has this blank expression on his face. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, like he has all the personality and charm of a slice of bread. I did not like, this is meant to be the hero, the Katniss's, he's even more boring than Katniss, and that's saying something.
I hate to say this because it's gonna feel like I'm sounding like a broken record, but he was way more interesting in the book, and I think that was more of a casting choice. Nothing against Josh Hutcherson, I like him, but I don't know if this was his role. I don't know if this was his role. Like, you know what I mean? But he does do a good job later on, like, later on when he's given more to do. So he's also not given a lot to do here. Just Another Movie Night says, you guys see the meme of 2 running shows right now having characters in the first Hunger Games? Huey on the Boys and the lead of Star Wars, Acolyte. He kills her and the boys is killing Acolyte. Yes. The Rue, who this actress.
She was the little girl, wasn't she?
Yeah. Amandla something.
Amanda Stenberg, I think.
Yes. So noticed her here. Loved her in that movie. Not everything all at once, but I think it's everything. It's about a girl who.
A few things. Yeah. And I'm also trying to think. Wow, I know she's been in some other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what that is.
Everything. I think is what's called. Is one of the things that I remember, where she plays a young girl, teenager, I should say, who she has this thing where she cannot go outside at all. She has to be inside all her life, and she falls in love with the boy next door, that kind of thing. So it's like a drama, romance type of thing. But I did love it. I have not watched The Acolyte. I'm not interested in Star Wars.
Oh God, you do not want to watch that.
Holy
moly, you do not want to watch that.
I haven't forgiven them since what is it? After The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens was cool, and then everything after that, I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I wouldn't wish The Acolyte on my worst enemy. It's that bad. I mean, geez, like, what are they doing on that show? Like, it's so bad. I've already made like 2 roasts on that show, and I do enjoy roasting that show. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. I just haven't really been into the Star Wars shows, period. Like, none of them. So, not even the Mandalorian. I'm just not the audience. Gemma said letterbox mouth Peter. I don't know what that means. Letterbox mouth Peter. Gemma Who
Yeah, I
says that?
suppose so. Yeah, I suppose so. I think she kind of means he's just very emotionless kind of thing, and I don't know. He kind of looks like he's like in a fishbowl or something, like struggling to breathe every time he's on screen. You know,
Okay, I think
I mean,
he's a
oh,
good actor. I
just a
don't think
thing I
he's
want to throw in
yeah.
there. Just one thing I
Right.
do want to throw in here about Peter. I mean, if I was Jennifer Lawrence, if I was Katniss, I mean,
Hmm.
that's a weird thought process, I know, but if I was Katniss and I had either Peter or Gale,
Don't even
who I would be choosing.
listen. That is okay. That is why I made the hot take what I made it. Because my whole thing was like Peter or Gail.
I think both of them are pretty wet blankets in
What?
terms of like wet blanket. It kind of means like they're just boring. They're both boring characters.
But one is like
If I had
boring
to
and more
choose,
hot, though. You know what I mean? That.
yeah. So if I had to choose, it would be Gale. I still think both are as boring as each other.
Brandon's movie review says, "I know I'm late, but I'm glad I could catch some of the discussion. How you got both doing?"
Hey,
Oh, we're doing
Brandon,
good. Thank you, Brandon. We're talking about the Hunger Games 2012. So
boring games.
I love the movie. Luke is lukewarm on it.
I understood that reference.
Yeah, like what I did there. Yeah. So we're just kind of comparing some things. So I'm not saying it's a perfect movie by any measure. And some of your things about it, criticisms, I agree. I do think that Josh Hutcherson, yes. So I think he's a good actor. I don't think he's a strong actor, and I'm basing
Hmm.
that off of this and Friday Nights at Freddy, which I know is a whole different medium. It's a whole different thing, and part of that was the storytelling. But like the idea of him carrying a movie or like being a
I
good
mean, I think the chemistry with him and Jennifer Lawrence is zero. Like,
chemistry.
well, yeah, what chemistry? Like, what chemistry between Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson? Where is the romance? That's another thing. Where is the romance? Like, there was there was tease. It was obvious. Obviously, I haven't read the books. I don't know anything about the other films. But as soon as I saw those two, I thought this is obviously going to be romance. And then I was waiting for the whole film for them to have some kind of intimate kind of
Nope.
scene or some kind of scene. It's just like, well, that didn't happen, and
Well, okay. To be fair, it doesn't happen in the book. It happens later. To be
mm,
fair, to be fair. The books, the love story was like this underlining consistent thing beneath all the craziness happening. It was kind of like a background thing, consistency, and then it doesn't really come into full, you know, blossom, bloom until maybe like end of book 2, beginning of book 3 for me. But yeah, I'm actually surprised, pleasantly surprised that Hollywood didn't try to like stick extra stuff, extra romance stuff in here that wasn't even in the book. I'm actually surprised they did. They did that. Oh, Brandon says I was not a fan of Josh Hutcherson in Five Nights at Freddy or The Beekeeper.
I love
Oh,
the Beekeeper.
oh, right. Well, no, he's saying he wasn't a fan of
Yeah.
Josh in The Beekeeper.
Hmm.
Okay, so first of all, Luke, agreed. Love The Beekeeper. It is ridiculous, and I love it.
It is the honey. It is the honey.
It just it protect the hive. Like I love it. I love it. I actually like liked him in The Beekeeper. I thought he played a whiny,
It
spoiled
was a different role for
egomaniac,
him. It was a
loose
different role.
cannon very well. It was a completely different role than what he'd done before,
Yeah,
and that's why I call him a good actor.
yeah, he has range.
But like
Um,
strong, like can like like I feel like a strong actor can do almost any role and carry a film.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think he's at that level, if that makes sense.
Just like another thing about Peter is that there's that one little scene where he's able to blend in with like the rocks and stuff.
Yeah, because he has, yeah,
You know,
he has painting skills. He decorates cakes in the bakery. Okay.
like honestly, all I kept thinking to myself was like, he's had a crush on this girl his whole life, and he has the ability to paint himself and blend himself in. That's really creepy. And like, I would be
Do
scared for Katniss right
not
now.
make this dirty, Luke.
I was scared for Jennifer. I was scared for Jennifer. Like, yeah, just go with Gale. Go with Gale. This guy's a freak.
No, no. First of all, if he entered a Is It Cake competition, he would obviously win. Cause wow, the reality of what he does is nice. The little painting. Secondly, no, he's not a creep. He's not a creep. He's not a creep. Okay,
And I
creeping
have
is if
to,
he, huh?
because I have to put in about Kato. Just a little thing about him. You know, the one who he's played by uh, Alexander Ludwig. You know, he's the he's from one of the districts, and obviously he's like the top boy.
Is
You
he the
know,
last surviving? He's the last surviving one, yeah? Yeah.
yeah, he's the
Okay.
last rival.
Yes.
You know, he's he's that strong
Creme de la
one.
creme.
Yeah, like he's a proper bully, proper jock. I mean, like just a little thing about him. I feel like if that character was played by Robert Pattinson instead, I feel like I would have finally realized my vision, my fantasy of seeing Robert Pattinson being eaten by a pack of mutant dogs. Like that was it. That was it. I've been always wanted to see Robert Pattinson get eaten by a pack of mutant CGI dogs, and that was the perfect opportunity to cast him in that role.
Why? Not a fan of the Pattinson?
No, I like Robert Pattinson, but like from the Twilight films, which I absolutely despised. By the way, just like I say, they're films, but I use the word films in quotes because they're barely even that. But just like I would like to have cast Robert Pattinson in that just to see him get eaten by the wolves because it was ironic because he's a vampire and he's in the Twilight films. I just wanted to be quite funny. Like as soon as that scene happened, I had to pause it. I literally had to pause it when Kato was being eaten by that. I paused it. I thought, what would have made this film better is to put Robert Pattinson in there and get eaten by those dogs, and it
Full
would boost my
circle.
score.
Full
It would
circle.
boost my score.
Chestnut the Movie Night says it's hard to not laugh during the rock painting scene. Yeah, he agrees with you.
It was very hard not to laugh.
So I'll give you a fun fact about the dogs.
They were not CGI.
No, so they don't go over this in the movie, but technically in the book, those dogs are the some of the fallen tributes who they morphed into dogs to chase them. So like how the little girl Rue died, she was one of the dogs.
Okay, that's a bit weird.
I know.
I don't
But
know how I feel about that.
I guess it's also to show like how advanced technology is in this world, in this specific dystopian future. Just a little bit. I said writing fan fiction for Jacob eating Edward. Okay.
Yeah, please make that happen.
I'm not against that. I was
You're not against
I was Team Jacob. I will stand by my I will stand by my decision to this day. Team Jacob. So,
I was team. Can we please end these films? That's what team I was on.
um, so,
I was team. Put them in the bin. Put them in the bin.
so they did end, and then yeah, yeah. Um, so I want to also talk about real quick Stanley Tucci as Caesar,
He's the man.
the host.
He's the man.
First of all, every time I laughed, every time it was the beginning of his show and it had that silhouette and he was like this, and then the lights would come on, he'd be like, oh, like every time he did it, I was like, yes, yes.
Yeah, I
He was
liked
so
him.
good.
To be fair, I did like him. Um, I mean, it was just quite strange. I didn't even know he was even in the film, and then he turned up in that blue wig, and then I kind of thought, what's going on? And then obviously, he's this TV host. Like, he's quite funny, but I wouldn't say he was a character that blew me away or anything like that. No one really made me like. No one really popped for me,
Mm-hmm.
really. Like, I liked a few characters a little bit, with him being one of the people I did like. But
Mm-hmm.
overall, there was no one that when I left after seeing the film, I wasn't like, I loved that character, or I want to see more of that character. I want to see what happens to that character. I didn't feel anything, you know.
Mm. Well,
And
you
that was
know what
just kind of my main issue.
what I did appreciate was the fact that the way they showed the concept of like media manipulation, and putting on a good show and entertainment at all costs, and how rightfully so, how on brand that is to how things are, or maybe have always been, I will say, you know, um, what you see, what you see on television, on internet is it's a facade. It's not. It's not real. It's manufactured. Even
Yeah, that's true.
and I think part of the I will say part of the whole Jennifer Lawrence, Josh Hutch, like the lack of chemistry, I think in a way played in a benefit in this specific film because of the fact that it's supposed to be so manufactured that even though Peter feels this way strongly for her, she does not feel this way for him. And it's just trying to like make it look like a certain way for everyone. So I will say that. Um, just the movie night says giving too many ideas to the 50 Shades writer. Oh God, please don't.
And I don't know. I mean, like,
Twilight inspired 50 Shades, right? Or
did it?
was the other way? Yeah, I think one of them. One of them inspired the other. I can't remember who came first, but one of them inspired the other. That's how we got what we got. So
It must
yeah,
have been Twilight that probably inspired them because the first
yeah,
Fifty Shades of Grey film came out in 2015, I believe, which
yeah.
is absolutely awful, by the way.
Oh, I'll
Um,
take your word for it. I'll never know.
you never know. I saw that film for scientific purposes, but yeah, it
Oh
was
no.
awful.
Oh no. I said I'll never know. Oh God. When you say the word never, you know what happens? Everything works in its power to make you a liar. Someone's gonna ask me to review this movie to talk about it now. Dog nabbit. I should just shut up. Ugh.
I have to be the one. If you're gonna go live to talk about that film, I have to be the one. Like, jeez. I mean, I
Please.
literally made a review on that film on Valentine's Day this
Oh,
year. I just had it's just like a whole roast of that film, and it got quite a good response. I'm not gonna lie.
all right. Well, Luke, I'm not reading the book. I'll say that much. I'm not
I
reading the
never
book.
read the books. I don't plan to either.
Scott says you're right. It was fan fiction. Okay. See, yeah. All right. Gotcha. Um. So I will.
Even the visuals, though, even the visuals of the Hunger Games, it was just very dark. It was just very dark and gloomy, and it
What?
just wasn't like. it wasn't bad CGI. You know, obviously it came out in 2012, so it's not
Yeah, yeah. I
you
thought
know,
it was pretty good, honestly. And I like the contrast to like when we're introduced to the world. Um, of the district, how everything is grazed and it's, it's white, it's just pale,
mm,
it's just devoid. So then when she's thrust into the capital, went into the Hunger Games, there's so much now. We have all the color and the vibrancy
yeah,
and the ridiculous, which
yeah.
again makes the everything stand out more. The hair, the everything. I'm like that stark contrast that is the like extreme fish out of water type of
Yeah,
setting.
I do agree with you. I guess just like from watching it, there wasn't really much of a style to anything. It just felt very streamlined,
Hmm.
kind of in terms of the production value and the visuals. It just all felt very just generic looking. There wasn't really particularly anything that like they did. I don't feel they did much in terms of like the camera. I mean, well, in terms of
Oh,
camera, there was a lot of shaky cam.
you mean cinema wise? Because I thought that the
Yeah,
production design was excellent.
yeah. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it just felt very one level. It didn't really feel like there was a certain specific style to any of
Mhm.
it. It just kind of felt very streamlined, and I kind of say that in like the sense of like the Marvel films, like these days, they're all very much the same, just just one level. There's nothing about them that pop. There's no style or anything like that. There's nothing that they do with the use of the camera or anything, or in terms of the shots they have. It's just all one level, and that's kind of what I felt about the Hunger Games.
Mm.
But in terms of the shaky cam, though, oh my God, that was I wasn't expecting that. I had some people say there was shaky cam, and I kind of thought, why would there be shaky cam in a film like this? You know, and it wasn't as bad as like some films, you know, like Taken Free, for example. Um, but
I
it was still bad,
I have only watched the first
necessary.
two Takens, and I was like, I've seen enough from this series. I'm okay.
Well, I mean, Taken Free is the worst. I mean, how many cuts did they have with Liam Neeson climbing over a fence? It's probably like a
Okay,
hundred
okay.
cuts.
I've seen that clip, and I laughed so hard. I'm like, oh my god.
It's like
Um,
it's like take a shot. It's like take a shot of alcohol. How many cuts they
cut.
have?
Pre-BX and Y says Hollywood/media would not lie to us. Wink, wink. Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah.
This is
I
true.
mean, I, I don't know. It's not a film. I mean, like, I know originally I gave it a 6.5, and then I dropped it down to a 4 out of 10. I still feel maybe I was a little bit harsh there.
I think you were. Four feels very extreme.
Yeah, I mean, that is my middle name, but I think now, like, listening to you a little bit, kind of express your love for it, I would probably boost it 5, 5.5.
Okay, okay.
Probably a 5.5, maybe a 6, maybe. But I'm still very conflicted on it, and I still don't really know how I really feel about it. All I know is that there's a lot of things I don't like
Okay,
more than
okay.
things that I do like.
All right. I challenge you to watch the second one. It I'm telling you, like it moves way differently. They're like I feel like they kind of got their rhythm. They're like, okay, you guys know about this world, you know what this stuff, great. Let's run off to the races now. I think it really leveled up. I would recommend you watching the second one. Just to see. Just I feel like it may confirm your feelings or like at least like help you kind of decide which way you're going to really go firmly, you know what I mean? And I think it addresses a lot of your previous criticisms and like makes it better. That's my opinion. Um, question: Did you cry when Rue died?
No, I did not.
I was
Um,
stoned.
I
Heart
didn't
of
really.
stone.
I liked her, I suppose. So, she was quite
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that I cared about her character or
But
anything.
it's
Like
real.
is I mean, throughout the majority of the film, I didn't even really know she existed, really,
Well,
until
that was
like
that was that was her superpower, actually, or her talent, I could say. She could climb trees. She knew how to be invisible. She knew how to like duck in and out and avoid.
that's true.
Um,
Maybe it worked. Maybe it worked, but I just didn't take any notice of her character until she was more prominent, in that forest. When we start to see a little bit more of her, and I thought, who's that girl? Oh yeah, she's one of the other um, tributes, and
yes.
then she has a little relationship with Katniss, and I thought, okay, it's
Well, here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say. Um, the the I feel like she was one of the most innocent ones in this, and she came out. She was quiet, but she was smart. She was observant. Um, and I really like, even though you don't get a lot of her, I feel like she resonated more than Peta for me. Does that make sense?
it's quite interesting. Obviously, I guess. Well, I'll take anyone over Peter. Um, I think I would take Snow's beard over Peter.
You, you know the new one songs, whatever it's called. The name is too long. Okay, the Ballad of Snakes and whatnot. That one is actually about President Snow in his younger years, and before he got over the games. So the idea of that, I freaking loved. The actor they chose for that, I thought, good choice. Some of the supporting cast, I thought, okay, good choice. Story, we're going somewhere, and then we fall flat. Oh, this other chick, I'm supposed to root for her. I can't freaking stand her. What are we talking? You had the ingredients and you messed it up. I don't know why you made the decisions you made. I haven't read that book. I didn't read that book, and I'm not gonna
And it's
because of how much.
from the same director, isn't it? It's from the same Francis Lawrence, obviously, who
It's,
directed
it's,
all the
the,
other
it's the same
installments.
writer. The same writer wrote all four books, but what I've heard is the fourth book is really weak, and I'm like, oh, that explains why the movie's weak. I'm not gonna read it. I'm okay. I was very pissed off about the movie, but that's
And I'm
another.
pretty sure
It's another chat.
there's meant to be another one, isn't there? There's meant to be another Hunger Games film coming out.
I think this made money, so there should be. There probably will be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I actually kind of heard
Viola
about
Davis
like
was the best part of that movie. Um, so before I close us out, I wanna two things I wanna ask. Well, I don't need to ask you this first one because you kind of already expressed how you feel about it. But I put a poll out about the series, and I only give people three options. You love it, or you think it's okay, but you hate the new one, which is how much I hate the new one because I put it as a choice in there. Or you don't, or you think the whole series is done. So right now, most people feel the middle one. Like they thought the series was okay, but they don't like the new movie. And
That
I don't
seems
need to ask
to be
you.
quite a common thing. I've heard a lot of people kind of agree with that. So
Yeah,
it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't
yeah.
surprise me.
Now, final question. Final question. Um, if things had gone differently and Peter was out the picture and it was just down to Katniss and Rue, do you think Katniss would have laid down her life so that Rue could live?
Yes, I do. I think she clearly cared about Rue. I think she obviously saw Rue as as her younger sister
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing, and obviously she clearly would do anything for her sister, as we saw at the start of the film. So I think she would, and even in the film, she was clearly willing to do anything to kind of protect Rue. And obviously Rue sacrificed herself to save Katniss. So I think she would. I think Katniss would.
Okay. Oh, official Spike G agrees with you. What's up, gang? What's up? He says, I do believe she would have. I'm gonna agree. I'll go as far as to say if Peter was alive and Peter wanted to do something, I feel like she would have ended Peter to make sure Rue lived. I mean, if Peter was in that mindset, like that's how strongly I think she felt connected to Rue. I think Rue reminded her in ways of her younger sister, who she
Yeah,
had left
yeah,
behind,
definitely.
and I don't think she would have like somebody else had to take Rue out because it wasn't going to be Katniss. So yeah, all right. I think we found something to agree on with the Hunger Games. Woo woo.
For once. I mean, our last live obviously was me roasting The Matrix, and then obviously our second live is me sort of roasting the Hunger Games, but at the same time trying to understand that it isn't as bad as maybe I think it is. As I said, like with The Matrix, yeah, like I still stand by what I said with that one. I do. Whereas with this one, I do still feel conflicted. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I thought it was all right. I thought it was okay. Um, Not as good as I thought it was going to be, considering everyone was hyping it up to me. Um, but ultimately, a pretty forgettable experience.
The people who hyped it up to you, did they also read the books?
Probably not.
Okay.
I think that I think it's because, obviously when that film came out, it was quite, I mean, even on the DVD that I got, on the DVD cover, it literally said, uh, like in quotes, it kind of said, "Witness the event of the year."
Well,
Like,
it was. It was a big thing.
yeah,
Just like,
even I can remember. Like, obviously, I didn't see it when it came out, but I remember it being a big thing.
mhm.
Like it was not as big as Harry Potter, but obviously there was a lot of attention for it. So just considering the amount of people and how popular these films are, because I do know they are popular, it just didn't. I just didn't. It just didn't wow me in the same way that I thought it was gonna. Because I literally thought like people was recommended it to me, and obviously, I did it for that collab, and I kind of thought that, yeah, yes, I reckon I'm gonna like this because
I
this
feel
is
like
very
it's
much
better
my
than
kind of
Maze
thing.
Runner, but that's just me.
Like that's the thing. Like I thought, like this is definitely up my street. I'm definitely gonna like it. But then I was surprised that like about halfway, I was like, I don't like it.
Okay.
You
If
know,
you if you decide if you decide Lou, to give the second movie a chance, which I think you should, even 30 minutes, just watch it. You'll know within the first 30 minutes, oh, this is different, or eh. I really think that you should like give it a fighting chance because yes, it gets really good. I mean, I already thought it
I
was good, but it gets like really good.
will definitely put it on the watch list. I'm not gonna say no to watching the other films, but I'm not. But at the same time, I'm not gonna rush out and see them.
I'm also
Like I'm not
not going to recommend you watch The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
like that
I don't
one.
think I'm going to recommend that.
I really
Mm.
don't have interest in watching that. If I make it through all the other Hunger Game films, eventually I may choose to watch
Okay.
The Ballad of Songs and Snakes, maybe. But
If
I'm
you
like,
do, if you happen to, I will await. I will await the rant in my DM.
expecting a 1 out of 10 or something like that.
Yes, yes, I am.
How would you score it?
Uh,
Well,
I
how
think
would you score that
I
one? And
was
how would you
not like
score?
I'm not as okay. I'm not as harsh with my scorings of things unless I really, really, really hate something. And
Unlike
the
me.
thing about the movie with Ballad of Songbirds, I didn't hate the movie. I hated elements of the movie. They were so mm, mm, mm. They pissed me off so much that I think I went like 5. That's low for me. Like 5. I think I went like
Yeah,
5.
that's like average for me.
Like 5. 5. I think I need to do what you did. Well, I should do a rewatch, but I won't. To see how I feel about it, like whether it should be a 4, I'll remain a 5.
And how would you
But
score The Hunger Games 2012?
8.
I had a feeling you was going to say 8. I had a feeling. That's quite,
Yeah.
that's very high. That's very high.
That's very high. I think highly of the movie.
But if you saw the collab that I did with Movie Book of the Week, like most of them, I mean, it was very much like, I mean, I wasn't even the lowest. I gave it a 6.5, but someone else gave it a 6. But then someone else, the highest it went up to was an 8. And then some other people gave it like a 7, 7.5.
Mm,
So it's clearly, quite a well received film.
yeah.
And obviously the lowest person gave it a 6. So even that's not that bad.
Yeah. I yeah. I think
Like obviously, like with
I stick by my 8. I think the second one I would go higher, and then the third one
higher,
I'd probably go a little lower.
damn. I mean, like obviously, like with the Matrix collab that I did, obviously that was a massive shift from everyone because obviously theirs was all tense, and obviously mine was like right at the lower side of anything. So that was like an extreme one. Whereas with the Hunger Games collab, it was relatively all in the same kind of
Yeah.
range.
Well, I appreciate you coming on today.
Always,
I enjoyed our
always.
conversation.
It's been fun. It's
uh,
good to see you back.
yes, 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 yes. Oh, June was so busy. I was like, "Pfft, I see y'all in July." But as always, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. Be sure, guys, to follow Luke, okay? Especially since he gets a little heat sometimes, but he's going to give his audience
Sometimes,
opinion, and
always.
it's good to be outside of your echo chamber. It's good to talk with people who don't agree with you on movies and things and see their insight. They kind of open things up. Like, it's good. Just
It
because
is.
he's
It is.
wrong about the Matrix doesn't mean.
I mean, as I always say that imagine if everyone thought the same thing about everything. Like how boring that would
Mhm.
be.
Yeah,
I think it's good to have different opinions. I think
yeah,
it's healthy to have a debate about anything.
I agree.
And it's about respecting each other's
Hmm.
opinions, and I mean loads of people, I get loads of people unfollowing me all the
That is
time.
that is the wildest
It's
thing.
ridiculous.
That's still like, it pisses me off just to hear you say that. I'm like, wait,
I
what?
get it. I get it all the time. All the
Oh, you
time.
don't like my
Like
movie?
whenever
I'm gonna unfollow you. That is the dumbest. Okay, I'll be quiet. Guys,
I see,
what the hell?
I get people messaging me like angry messages. I get angry comments all the time. All the time.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah,
Did they make the movie? Is it their movie?
I don't think so, no.
All right, well, guys, let's try to be like understanding and respectful. Even if someone posts a review that you like, no, this movie is near and dear to me. Understand that they're having a different experience than you. They look at things different than you. They receive things different than you. Even us talking about the Hunger Games, the movie, right now, there are things that Luke pointed out to me that I'm like, you know what? I agree. You're right. And things that I point out to him. My love for the Hunger Games has changed him by point 0.5 points, I think, with the score.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
you
Like a
know,
couple of points. It's gone up a little bit. It's gone
yeah.
up a little bit.
So I love healthy debates, guys. I will not back down from a movie debate. Okay. I don't get really mad. I get play mad, but I don't get really mad when someone is bashing a movie that I love. It's fun, guys. It's fun. Don't take life so serious. Just relax, enjoy, and let's just talk about movies. That's what they're here for us to have
Exactly.
discussions, for us to have insights, for us to realize what we like or may not like in something. So and anyone who's interested in coming on my live, like my awesome friend Luke here, and debating with me about movies, I'm open to it. Shoot me a DM. I do them normally at 7, but I change for my UK friend, for my Bulgarian friends. We do it. Make it happen. All right. So Again, thank you so much, Luke, for coming
Thank you
on.
very
Thank you
much.
guys for
Pleasure.
being involved in the conversation. I love these lives. I love having these conversations and these debates. I love when you guys join in. So I'll see you guys next week for another one. And
Yeah,
in the meantime, stay thirsty, my friends. Oh wait, that's the
stay
wrong
thirsty.
closing.
I was gonna say, are you sure about that?
Wrong closing. In the meantime, may the odds be ever in your favor.
That, that's it. That's it. That's
That's
the
the
one.
one.